All right, guys, we bought this old police bomb squad SWAT van. I'm gonna tell you guys 5 reasons why you should buy an old bomb squad SWAT van, and then 5 reasons why you probably shouldn't. Now, we actually bought this thing, I think 5 or 6 years ago. We've driven it to Big Bend for the open road race, about 500 miles away, 5 or 6 times, so I can give you guys an actual review of this thing after using it in the real world.
Can't get over yourself tonight.
All right, I'm at full throttle in first gear, barely holding 23 miles an hour, nearly 250-degree water temp, but this is one of the coolest roads I have seen. This is awesome.
This is the perfect mountain vehicle. It's gonna be sweet when the brakes go out in this thing.
This is incredible, man. Yeah, that's the way to go.
Not in an 87 Vandura.
87 Vandura, buddy. First off, what is it? So this is a 1987 GMC Vandura 3500. It's basically a van that they chopped the back off of. They put a giant box on the back, and then it became a SWAT van. Now, obviously the coolest part about this is they left everything on here. So the lights and sirens, all the SWAT emblems. When we first got it, it said Northeast Explosive Response Unit on the side. We painted over that and put the Motivate Labs up there because I thought that might be a little too much to leave, but stuff like this we definitely left. So there's this emblem on each side. It's hand painted. It's got the shape of Texas and it's painted like the Texas flag. There's a bomb behind that, 2 lightning bolts, and then these leaves kind of shaped like a wreath. So I still need to clear coat over that to protect that because that's definitely staying. And that brings us to reason number 1 why you should get an old SWAT van. They're pretty cheap. So this was $3,000 at an old auction. We bought it from a friend for 3,500 bucks. So let me take you on a little tour here and you can see what you get for your 3,500 bucks. So up here in the cab, you've got seating for 2 people. And what they did, they left all the inventory lists all over this van. So up here in the front, it says cab, quantity 1, bomb truck, Motorola radio, cellular telephone, a Dudley do-right figure. I have no idea what that is. I'll have to Google that and put it on the screen. Now, since we've had it, most all of the gauges stopped working except the speedometer. So we added some aftermarket cheapo gauges for oil pressure, voltage, water temperature, tachometer. We've got tire pressure for all 6 tires. Of course, you gotta have your CB radio. Got a nice Cobra Classic there. They've got cool stuff all over the van, like this thing here. So just a 12-volt positive in the ground. You can stab wires in. That's powering the CB radio right now. So it's got a handy little desk here, and 2 of the walls are covered in whiteboard material. We've got some markers Velcroed up there so you can get to them pretty easy. And then we've got our tuning computer down here. Got it roped to the wall so it doesn't fall over when you hit the brakes. And we use this when we're tuning the race car. So we've got a 30-foot USB cable, and we can roll that out the side door, get it over to the car, hook it up, and then we can pull the logs down from it and kind of work in here in the air conditioning, so that's pretty nice. Got an air compressor down here, so kick that on. Got a couple air hoses. We've got lots of storage in this thing, and a lot of these cabinets still have the original manifest lists on here. Storage area 2. We've got Makita drill with assorted bits, a body fluid disposal kit. Not sure what that is. Doesn't sound good. Ammonia methylamine respirators. I think methylamine, I think that's the chemical from Breaking Bad they use to make meth, I think.
You still need methylamine, don't you, right? You want to talk methylamine? Then tell your partner to stop threatening me.
You can't even get us a single barrel.
Storage area number 21, complete AMA bomb blast suit. Now, of course, we just use this front area to store fluids for the van and the race car. This one's labeled on the outside food, kind of paper plates, towels, things like that. There is an old bottle of our, we had a company make a pepper sauce for us. After the Camaro caught on fire and burnt up and we rebuilt the car, we decided to make this pepper sauce. So it's a charred Camaro Chipotle pepper sauce by Motivate Labs. It's pretty good. Okay, there's lights all over the inside of this thing. So some are these 12-volt ceiling lights like this. We've also got 12-volt fluorescent lights. Get these kicked on. Get some light in this thing. They've even got some lights down here on the floor that you can kick on so you can see around your feet. Old van seat. out of the Astro van. Extension cords for days, so I think we've probably got a mile worth of extension cords so we can get power and power this van up. We've used it a lot when we're in a parking lot of a hotel. You can run extension cords all the way to the hotel. More storage over here. Got our welder down here. Here's a locked small storage area. This one was interesting. This is storage area number 7. Quantity 1, a non-electric igniter and primers. Was that to detonate some bombs, maybe? This was the bomb squad van. Yeah, no labeling on this one, but it does have the old paperwork for this thing. And it's got a checklist on here. The weekly SWAT vehicle check. Looks like March 9th, 2013 was the last time they tested everything else. Up here it says negotiations van. I don't know if it was a bomb squad van and then it changed to a negotiations van. Not really sure. All right, here's where everything is controlled from. So they've got these nice switch panels up on top here. You've got an AC volts readout. You can switch between the shore power and the generators. Got nice breakers. So the rear scene, this is the halogen lights out back, and those are super bright. So you can throw those up in the air at night, turn this rear scene on, and you've pretty much got enough light to have an outdoor workshop. And we use this all the time at the race, because we're usually rebuilding the race car the night before the race, out in the dark. You've also got 12-volt DC lights on the 4 corners of the van. So we've got a right front, right rear, left front, left rear. So we can light up both sides of the van. There's exterior 120-volt outlets. You can run welder, things like that from outside the van. All right, so reason number 2 you should buy an old SWAT van. You've basically got a mobile workshop wherever you're at. So with all the lights on this thing, the power outlets, and the generator, you can pretty much rebuild a race car in the middle of the desert. So it's got this Emerald Plus Onan generator on it, 6,500 watts. It's air cooled, so there's a big fan at the end of the generator here, draws air through the fins over here, and it exhausts all that hot air out the bottom of the generator. Works pretty good. The choke doesn't work anymore, so I've got to manually do the choke, and should start up. Let's see. A little noisy. Generator's running, so it's green. You can stop the generator from up here, so kill the breaker. All right, generator stopped. Flip this down, go back to shore power. We've got to go pick a couch up, so we're going to do some driving, and that brings me to reason number 1 why you might not want to buy an old SWAT van. They're not that good to drive. They handle pretty bad. We're going to blow all over the road. You'll see. All right, guys, let's see. Like, where's 35? Let's get up to speed here. It blows around in the wind pretty bad. Let's see. Oh, we gotta slow down a little here. Let's slow down. The brakes are not very good. What?
Police.
No, we got the police. It's okay, we're in a SWAT van, so we should be able to just go on by. All right, let's get on the highway. Here we go. We're gonna start in second gear. Full throttle. This is all she's got. 35. And it's a turbo 400 transmission. It is an automatic, but I manually shift it because it shifts too early. So I'll manually shift. There we go. 3 speeds. That's all we got. It blows in the wind pretty good, so it keeps you awake while you're driving. We did the whole front suspension, so it's got new sway bar bushings, new shocks, new ball joints, new tie rod ends, new steering box, and all of that made 0 difference. So it still blows all over the road. It's hard to keep in your lane. Woo! Oh, shit! And the horn doesn't work, so when people cut you off like that, you get to use a little siren. Reason number 2 why you might not want an old SWAT van, they're pretty loud to drive. It's pretty much like if you took an old shed, put some wheels and an engine on it and drove it down the road. Everything rattles, everything squeaks. You know, it's 30 plus years old. That's just how it is. Yeah, so one thing about the van is it is loud. Would you agree, Michaela?
Yes.
The van's pretty loud. It is loud, but it's from the 80s. It doesn't seal very well. Oh, the door doesn't shut very good. Reset the door. Okay. Reason number 3, you might not want an old SWAT van. They're slow. So back in the 80s, somehow they only got 150 horsepower, roughly, out of the Chevy 350s. It was a pretty bad time for cars back then. And so this thing goes nowhere. All right, we're gonna do a 0 to 60 test getting on the highway here from a stop. This is the best conditions we've got. We just did a tune-up. It's got new spark plugs, plug wires, distributor cap, rotor. What else did we do? We're on 93 octane fuel. It's about 55 degrees outside. Yeah, air conditioner's off. Are you ready, Michaela?
I'm ready.
All right, let's see what she's got. Ready to go. Start it. Start the clock. Full throttle. There's 3,000, 3,500, 4,000. Get on the highway. This is second gear. 3,500. We're almost to 4,000. Shift. There's 55. 55 miles an hour. And 60. That's all she's got. I don't know what that was, but it seemed like a long time. Felt like 10 seconds maybe. Reason number 4 why you might not want an old SWAT van, the fuel economy is terrible. So just going to get that couch and back, 6 miles to the gallon. Now we got on it some, fair enough, but the best we've ever got out of this van was 7 miles to the gallon. And that's just how it goes. With this TBI 350, it doesn't have good fuel economy, so that is a negative. However, all of those negatives, the slow performance, the bad fuel economy, does bring me to reason number 3 why you might want an old SWAT van. This old engine and the whole van, super easy to work on. So you can get all these parts at O'Reilly's. Here's another reason why you might not want one of these, is where to keep it. So it's 10 feet tall, doesn't fit in the garage or the shop, so kind of just stays out in the yard. Reason number 4 why you should buy an old SWAT van, lights and sirens. So I thought the police would take off the lights and sirens before they took this thing to auction, but they left them on. All right, so for the sirens, we've got this Smith & Wesson Model 800. So you got a couple options here. There's the horn, which is pretty dang loud, and then the sirens, of course. There's a PA option. So you've got a microphone here. You can yell at people out the front with that. This controls all the flashing lights, the fun part of the van. This turns on the flashing red lights. This one turns on some flashing white lights, which don't work anymore. This switch does nothing, and this switch does nothing, as far as I can tell. This row controls the backlights. So we've got a rear beacon. There is one that's just a flashing yellow lights. So that's kind of handy. When you break down, if you remember which one it is, you can turn just the yellow flashing lights on instead of the reds and blues. And that'll keep people from hopefully running into the back of you. We've used that a lot because we've had a lot of blowouts in this van.
Woo! Yeah! Blowout number 2. Did that wake you up?
A little bit. That's my first blowout.
Damn it, I had Aphex Twin on too. What do you mean that's your first blowout?
Ever.
You've never had a blowout?
Ever. Woo, what you got there, man?
This is what blew up. Yeah, all the wiring for the lights got torn out with it.
All right, and the final reason, number 5, why you should buy an old SWAT van, it's gonna have character. So especially this one. Every time we get in it, I feel like we're going back to the 80s, especially with the hand-painted crest on each side with the bomb logo. And then you've got all the inventory lists on the cabinets, the lights and sirens. It just feels like people were in this thing and actually did some work. It's kind of cool. You feel like there were stories in here. Now this thing may have just sat in a parking lot for 15 years at a police station, never got used, I don't know. But I'd like to think it actually went out and maybe defused some bombs, maybe went to a hostage situation. Hopefully it did. It seems like it's been used, so I think it probably actually saw some good work. So if you see one of these for sale and want to pick it up cheap, I definitely recommend it if you can deal with all the negatives. Either way, we appreciate you guys watching. We'll see y'all on the next one.